heart of the matter. We're going to start off in Proverbs 4:23. It says, keep your heart with all diligence, for from it flows the springs of life. I read this verse and start looking at it, and it's keep your heart with all diligence. I define that word, and it's alert, watchfulness, continuous attention. What are we keeping it? What are we paying attention to our heart for? Why do we need to be that watchful over it? Is the first question that pops in my head. And it's most people follow their heart when they're thinking about something, wanting to do something. It's really dictates their life on what they do. They don't think about it. They go with their heart. And with everything that's around us, there's a lot of things that get into our heart that don't need to be there. Things that are on TV, things on radio, people, places, things. It's just, we gotta be watchful over what we surround ourselves with. Because if we don't, then we're at danger of putting something in our heart that can, as in says in James 1:14 and 15, can conceive sin. I'll give you three things to stay alert for. The first thing is remembering the past. I look back at my past and recall on the things I used to do and everything, and most of everything that I did was fun. So it's like I get a little joy out of remembering what I used to do. And doing that is dangerous because it opens the door for that old sin to be recycled. Because I want to go have that fun again.
It's kind of like that verse that Ed used to say all the time, evil company corrupts good habits.
And it's just the memories of what we used to do. The memory itself is dangerous because if you look in 1 Thessalonians 5:19 and Ephesians 4:30, we can quench the Holy Spirit just by the memories. You want to read Ephesians 4:30? Lily, you want to read 1 Thessalonians 5:19?
She doesn't know where Thessalonians is.
Ephesians 4:30. And do not grieve the Holy Spirit of God, by whom you were sealed for the day of redemption.
The memories of our past can grieve the Holy Spirit because the Holy Spirit's holy. Just the memory of that sin can grieve the Holy Spirit.
What is it? Where's this one?
5:19.
Do not quench the spirit.
We're supposed to keep our heart and our mind holy, and to be able to walk in the Spirit, we can't be recalling on the memories of our past and the memories of the sin that we used to do.
Sometimes when that happens to me, like, I think maybe that's Satan kind of, playing with me or whatever, and that's when I'm, like, rebuke him and be like, you don't want to remember those things because, yeah, they were fun, but they were dangerous and just led you away from where you wanted to be.
And the thing about it is, we recall the fun that it used to be, but we don't recall the pain that it brought us through.
Yes, sir.
And that's where it gets dangerous because we don't look at where it took us. We just look at the moment and we don't look at the whole picture. The next point is fantasizing about sin. This is in the present, which Matthew 5:21 through 42, it talks about fantasizing either about that's looking lustfully at a woman. That's if you're driving down the street and somebody cuts you off, it's the first thing that pops in your head. Most of the time, sin. It's those thoughts that we have and fantasizing about what we would do. Same thing as sin. It's just because you don't do it doesn't mean it's not sin.
It's where your heart is.
It's where your intent is. And let's see here. Mark 7:20 through 22 talks about from within out of the heart of men proceed the evil thoughts. It's what are you thinking about when somebody talks to you wrong? Are you they're not saved, or do you forgive them, or do you I want to get them back, I want to cuss them out, or you're cussing them out in your head and you're just not saying nothing? The next one is a scheming heart. And this is for the future. Psalms 36:1 says that transgression speaks to the ungodly within his heart. Verse 4 says that he plans wickedness upon his bed. When you're by yourself where no one knows or no one's around, are you thinking about how you can get over on somebody or how you can get a quick come up? For inward thought in the heart of the man are deep.
Yeah, if you're sitting around thinking about it, I mean, that's deep, that's within you because nobody's around, you're still sitting there thinking about what you can do to come up or what you can do to, act in the way that you did in the past.
And
That's burrowed in there.
when I go to places now, it's you always see that one person that's got a scam going. You always see them either at a gas station or a store or whatever. And I think I wonder if I looked like that back in the day. I wonder if I was that person that people could point out like he was trying to get over on somebody. It's we gotta be careful where our heart goes, because it's from day one it was no good. That's why we have to get a new heart through Jesus, because the heart that we're born with isn't right.
What were those verses in Psalms? What did you just say?
36:1-4.
Thank you.
And so now I'm going to talk about what frees us from it. And the first thing is we're free from the penalty of sin through justification. And you can find this in Romans 4:25 and Romans 5:9. Justification is God's act of removing the guilt and penalty of sin while at the same time declaring a sinner righteous through Christ's atoning sacrifice. This is what Jesus went to the cross for, to justify us, to make us righteous.
Yes, sir.
And if it wasn't for him, then we'd be still stuck with the judgment of our sin. The second thing is we're free from the power of sin through sanctification. This is in Romans 6:22. Sanctus, the Latin root of sanctification, merely means holy in English. But what does holy mean? Nelson's Illustrated Bible Dictionary defines it as moral and ethical wholeness or perfection, freedom from moral evil. The scriptures refer to this as sanctification and godliness, which I came to the understanding of it meaning to be set apart for divine service, or something that is holy, it has been set apart to serve God or God's people, or God's purpose in some way. If you are holy, if you are sanctified, you have been set apart to serve God, for we are slaves of God. And you can also find that in 2 Thessalonians 2:13-14. And the last one is, will be set free from the presence of sin by glorification. And this is in Romans 8:30. Glorification is the final stage of the ordos, I don't know how to say that word, but it's Latin for the order of salvation. It refers to the nature of believers after death and judgment, the final step in application of redemption, which you find this in Romans 3:23. It says that, or no, that's in 8:30. Yeah. And it's this is when Jesus comes back. This is when the rapture happens and we go to be with Jesus in glory. It's without these things, it's we just be here stuck in sin, waiting for judgment and waiting to be carried to hell, I guess. This weekend, I went Friday night. I went to a game room like Friday night. Spent just about 75% of my paycheck. Lost it all. Yeah. And I had this to prepare for. It wasn't ready yet because I had something else I was going to do, but something told me not to do that one. So I had this to come up with, and Friday night, Dee and Cody, they went to have their little date night, whatever. I was at the house by myself. I was like, hey, why not? Horrible decision. But I was recalling on the memories of the past, of how much fun I used to have doing it. And this time when I left, it was horrible.
How'd you feel when you were there? Out of place?
Yeah.
Like
But,
going wrong there?
But I kind of distracted myself by pushing the button. So, but
It's good work.
it's hard. It's hard walking the Christian life, but it's worth it.
Yes, sir.
Because without it, you're damned for, forever. So I look over the past year, because it's almost a year since I've been saved. And from what I was doing back then to now, game room seems like nothing. But to me, it's a lot, because that just shows how easily I can veer off the path of what I need to be doing.
It's just like saying, oh, it's just one pill, it's not heroin.
And
You start with the game room. What's next? If you don't catch it, nip it. What's after that?
Because, say you're sitting in the game room and you're like, well, I don't have that euphoria. Let's say, what was making me feel good to be here, to push the button and actually, enjoy it. you know, so then it's like, well, maybe next time I'll, you know. do
Or
better.
you run into somebody that you used to know,
Yes, sir.
or it's one of those, you open up a doorway for a lot of things to get in that you don't need to let get in. It's
It's like an alcoholic going to a bar.
Yes,
Yeah.
sir. Exactly.
and I knew it wasn't right when I left. I knew it wasn't right when I was there. And when I left, it was,
Like overbearing guilt.
and it was like, now I'm broke this week, and
Good lesson, you know?
it's
Sin always costs.
yeah, and it's we're supposed to be set apart, and Friday night I wasn't set apart. I was like everybody else that night, and I can't say what will happen next time because I'm not there.
Right.
It might be a different situation. It might be something totally different hitting me. But as of right now, I can say that I won't do it right now. It's I got too much to lose now than I did before.
I feel like Satan finds those little lapse in time where maybe there are people there and then you kind of get bored and you may be a little lonely, or, you know, he just finds those little weaknesses that we may have and then he just runs with them, you know?
And that's why our memories and the fantasizing about it and stuff like that is bad, because a thought can turn into something way worse. Hello, Mr. Nick Reynolds.
What's up, dude?
Finally decided to join us, did you?
Start over.
On the top. You know, you can use those thoughts for motivation also.
Yes.
And they don't have to be for bad.
It's you're right, but it's if you're recalling on them to get a joy or satisfaction from them, that's where it turns bad.
Yeah.
And it's
But you've been there, you know what it leads to, so there
Yes.
should be no joy or satisfaction in like what the memories are.
Like some of my memories make my stomach hurt. Like some of the stuff.
and it's we're gonna sin. That's just plain and simple.
Well, you can't forget what you lived. All you can do is move on.
I think when you're saying remember the past, so you're not talking about actually forgetting, you're talking about pondering on it. You're talking about remembering
Yes.
to the point where it's actually in your brain, start thinking about it, like,
Yes.
man, I remember back in the days when I used to go to the bar, like how much I laughed and giggled, and yeah, I felt
And
like
it's-
jumped the next day, but you know, life was so much fun.
It's not more of you having it in your head.
Right.
It's more of you remembering it in your heart, joy.
Yeah, there you go.
Because the intent is what matters. Because if you're recalling on it to be like, no, I don't need to do this,
Yeah.
then you're good. But if you're recalling on it to have that euphoria, like Lacey said, then yeah, that can get you in trouble.
That's when you say, get thee behind me, Satan.
Yep.
That's been forgiven, it's been thrown in the ocean,
Exactly.
And we're
as far as east is from the west.
and kill it as soon as it starts.
Yes, sir.
Mr. Nick Reynolds, would you like to close us out in prayer, sir?
Yes, sir.